シンダーシャドウ1億、ワーズ・オフ・パラダイス2億、ニクス&ゲーマー3億人、ライアン・ロジャー・アセイ4億、アチュレイエース5億、ワラ・ダーク6億、ウィル・オブ・ザ・ファンズ7億、ポリッシュド・プロダクションズ8億、スマッシュ JT9 億、ヒップノーキック10億。
何？
要はまさに大 YouTuber 時代。
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Don't watch. Turn off the TV. Go and touch grass, please, for God's sake.
Go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them. With the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
But hey, that's just a theory. A theory.
Blimey, Harry, didn't you ever wonder where your dad learned it all?
Learned what?
You're a f***ing Harry.
I'm a what?
A f***.
And a thumping good I'd wager.
Hello. I'm a f***.
Who the hell are you anyway?
I'm a f***.
I saved the whole of reality from you. I am
a f***. Call me the f***.
This is Zoe, Jamie, and I'm
a f***.
Might I suggest you just call me
a f***.
No, I'm the f***.
Oh, please don't call me human. Just
f***.
How do you do, sir? I'm
a f***.
Her name is Tegan, Your Majesty. This is Turlo, and I'm
a f***.
No, actually, I am known as
a f***.
Now that we're all here, let me introduce myself. I'm
a f***. I'm a f***.
And who are you?
What are you going to do with
a f***?
Do you know what I see, Doctor?
A f***.
I walked in universes where the laws of physics were devised by the mind of
a f***.
basically run.
You've got a nice game studio here, China.
Yes.
We wouldn't want anything to happen to it.
What? No, what my brother means is it'd be a shame if, Sorry, China. What is all this about?
How many devs you got here, China?
Oh, about 20.
Be a shame if someone was to call them all sexist.
Sexist?
We can guarantee you that not a single one of your devs will get called sexist for, 7 mil.
No, absolutely not. Out of the question. What a ridiculous idea. What were you thinking, YouTuber? Cut to the video.
yeah! Oh, yeah! That's right, baby. Hi, it's WTF Live. Hello, everybody. I'm Will of the Fans. And can you hear me this time, everybody?
Yes.
Yes. Good. I don't want any more screw-ups like last time. I don't want to be known as the new Nerdrotic or anything like that. It is indeed, well, unless I had a subscriber account, it is indeed WTF Live. We are a day late and hopefully not $1 short, as I can tell already from what's already going on in the chat, as James Up decided not only to become a new member, but also to gift 10 Will of the Fans memberships straight out of the gate. What? Well, thank you very, very much. Yes, of course, it is WTF Live. We are back. It's Wednesday, not Tuesday. And that was, of course, caused by the, well, unexpected celebration of my birthday. I wasn't expecting it to become very much, but it, in fact, did. In fact, I was fully prepared to never have a birthday again, considering that my daughter now shares the same month with me. But, oh, well. Turns out people do care after all, and a good evening of Wii Sports was had.
Oh my!
Thanks to all my stuff from the UK finally showing up. So thank you for being here for this episode. It is WTF Live, and I am joined as always by my usual cohorts, Mr. Ryan Roger Athe and Mr. Ravenwolf, aka Dobby. Ryan, would you like to say hello?
Well, hello everyone. I hope you're all doing well, and it's great to see you all watching today. Since I couldn't type this in the chat, I will say it on the show. There weren't enough ching-chang-chongs in your Chinese impersonation, Will. Oh, you ain't threatening me. Oh, oh, you sweet baby ink. Oh, where dog for dinner. Oh.
Well, I was trying to sound like Graham Chapman from Monty Python's Flying Circus. That was really what I was going for there. But continue.
Well, it's great to be here, folks. Great to be back with Will and Dobby. We'll be having quite a few talks over the next few hours about some topics of the day, whether it's Disney Who, hashtag Disney Who sucks, because RIP Doctor Who is getting a bit stale. It's been 6 years, folks, and it's still fucking here. What does that tell you? We'll also talk about the Mercante creature and her latest review of a DLC of all things, plus the fact that new communism is trying to extort old communism for money for some reason. I don't know.
I've been waiting days to talk about that. It's driving me crazy. Go on, man.
Well, yeah. Now on to Dobby, who isn't ill, isn't a cancer patient, and doesn't have AIDS.
Wow, what a nice intro that was. Hi.
It's the best ever, right?
Hi, I'm Dobby, and I survived another episode of The Acolyte, and I'm still sane. I think.
The accolades.
Tell me I'm normal. Thanks for having me on the show again. We are going to have a nice, fun talk about Listen,
hello, I'm Dobby. Give me money. 100 subs.
He got to 100 subs, did you?
Oh, no.
I have no idea. I haven't checked
Hey,
yet.
everybody, help him get to 100 subs. Come on. What's wrong
that
with
kind of does look like me if I was going to be in Avatar.
It's like you and Atreus merged into a person.
Yeah, but I don't share my DMs in public.
Black.
Like Atreus.
It's the black.
What? It's
black.
Moving on. Anyway, go ahead, Rev. Finish your intro for crying out loud.
I think I was done after that. It's
Are you
good picture. I love that picture.
All right. Well, it was nice knowing you folks. See you next week. No, of course, it would be tomorrow anyway. But we've got a lot to talk about. We've got the latest ratings for Doctor Who, including the obviously embarrassing overnights, and of course the +7s that have come out only for multi-devices for the second week in a row. We haven't had the TV only numbers, and I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe the BBC is just getting lazy. Of course, we also have to talk about Mercante and her need, her insatiable thirst to be the center of attention about absolutely everything to do with gaming, and to do it in a way that seems to be a desperate cry for attention. Like, oh, but I'm so sad. I'm a victim. Please feel sorry for me. But you keep attacking other people, Alyssa. That's why we don't feel sorry for you. It's the only reason we know your fucking name at this point. We don't want to be having to talk about this woman anymore, but she just keeps giving us stuff to say. So, well, guess we'll go down that rabbit hole again. And then there's the bigger issue, which is the return of Sweet Baby Inc. to my desk. Thanks to, as you alluded to, Ryan, the attempt to extort money from China. Now, I mean, forgive me, but we'll go to Doctor Who first. But before that, what isn't China supposed to be responsible for all of this destabilization and demoralization in the West? Isn't that what we?
It does go back a long way, Will, but I'll boil it down like this. Trying to extort money from communist China is like trying to extort food from North Korea. It ain't fucking happening because it ain't there, folks. So that. But yeah, it does go back a long way, and people are, about 50-50 on whether or not China is the main opposition. But yeah, it would take too long to penetrate.
Woof, I see what you did there. Well, I mean, yeah, the thing about China is just as we have the time to talk about it anyway, they are not the, I mean, the CCP obviously is what it is. It's a communist party. It oppresses the people. We all saw the videos of the riots and the police, putting people in bags during the lockdowns and stuff like that. But the people themselves, and I say this as a former English teacher to Chinese children, the people are based beyond, like they're as based as Ryan, that they don't care. They will say anything that's true to nature. And we could all stand to benefit a fair amount from that.
Absolutely. It's a hybrid system. It's after Mao's death and the Gang of Four tried to take over and failed, China adopted a hybrid model, tried to put the best of both systems in place, and went from a third world shithole into the second most powerful place on planet Earth in Will's lifetime, practically. So, yeah, something's going right for them. But yes, it is by Western standards a bloodthirsty dictatorship, even to this day. They're brainwashing and murdering quite a few Uyghur Muslims. So, as I said, it's a long bloody.
And Disney's thanking them for it, of course, as we saw with Mulan a couple of years back. That was a real mess. The world's going to shit, folks, but at least our entertainment seems to be biting back somewhat. I mean, not our entertainment, but the audiences, the fans of whom I represent, which is why we're seeing such abysmal ratings going on with Doctor Who. And that was as nice a segue as I'm capable of. But before we get into the topic proper, might as well announce it. Eris Rhoda for 5 Will of the Fans memberships. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. All right. So, Doctor Who's ratings.
Oh, crap.
I mean, would you like to just discuss the season as it is at the moment before we dive into them? I mean,
3 letters, Will. DOA. Simple as that. Over the past 2 years, from the start of Disney Who with the 60th anniversary and the specials until where we are today, they've lost 50% of their viewership. Now, you got to try hard to fuck up that much, folks.
You really have.
And I really thought they were going to fuck up so hard that they would get sub 1 million. Because I thought this is so bad, people are just going to have a mass exodus. But no.
Yeah.
Some folks are still sticking around, and the bleed out is going to be a long and painful one.
Absolutely. I mean, what were the ratings for the specials, for the Tenant return specials?
About 4 to 5 million?
Yeah,
I'd say, yeah.
Is that what they were averaging? Hang on, I think I can get it on
people
screen.
actually thought that Tennant was going to come back and not be a political puppet, and he turned into a complete joke.
I didn't initially watch those episodes because I had just been like, to hell with Disney Who. But I've recently rewatched them and compared them to, what we've seen. And this is way better. Yeah. The specials for 2023 for the 60th anniversary are way better than Disney Who with Gatwa. I mean, look at that, 5 to 7 million. So it's higher than I initially thought. So maybe they've lost 60% of their viewership, or hell, maybe even more. 66.7%. 73 yards of death.
73, yeah, 666. I see it. Yeah. So what did we start with? 5.08 million for the return of David Tennant in the Star Beast, and then of course they brought in the pronouns. They brought in Transman Finney and all of that. And what did we see? Although they still did audience appreciation index at that point. Apparently they're not doing that anymore. So a consolidation of 7.61 million. These kinds of numbers the current season can only dream of. This is ludicrous. That's the highest we've seen for quite a long time. And it came obviously because of the return of David Tennant. No way around that. He's many people's favorite doctor. He's many people's first doctor. He was my first doctor, in fact. And then I went back to consume the rest. But obviously a significant drop off from the first.
Well, I mean, what did they expect when they had Star Beast?
I mean, the pronouns thing was embarrassing, but there was nothing as bad as when they stand together, Donna and her daughter, and tell Tennant, you can't understand any of this because you're not a woman. And it's like, why didn't he turn around and go, Jason, that is your real name, right? Jason?
How about I make you how about I make you a woman, Jason? Massive radiation damage through his like sonic lenses and sterilizes him. Okay, now you're a woman.
I got to break out the sonic spork for this, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yes, as we've been uncovering the various bits of tat that I've accumulated through my life, they finally arrived in the Philippines after quite a long time, and I now have a sonic spork, Sonic on one end, cheap utensil on the other.
If they ever make like a master show, they should call it Doctor Based, because if the master was in that situation, he would have just, playfully done what I suggested, which was irradiate Transman Finney so that it would be sterilized and become an actual woman that couldn't get it up.
Yeah, I mean, that is actually what he would do. Yeah, he would.
And that's him being kind, because the master would usually just kill someone.
Just kill you, yeah. You're mentally ill. See ya. You're useless to me. Goodbye. Laser screwdriver.
That's why
Sonic.
Well, that's why I personally think, folks, that the 60th anniversary specials were far more palatable than what we've seen with Disney Who Season 1. And personally, I think a master show, Doctor Based, as I would call it, or like a Dalek series would get more viewership than Season 1 of and Season 2, because it is going to come, unfortunately, would do better than what we have seen.
Probably.
Nice tits.
I think a based doctor would be, or master, or anyone really, just a palate cleanser from all this wokeness would be very, very welcome at this kind of time. It's getting ridiculous. I'd like to see a doctor who's a complete wanker. I think that would be just really funny. Me and my friend back in the day, before, I think it was during the Capaldi era, we used to say, how are they going to make an angrier, nastier doctor? All right, so we have him regenerate and he turns into like some cockney bloke, and he just gets up and he sort of dusts himself off and he's like, all right. And then, just, all right, mate, how you doing? You all right? It's me, innit? And whoever's the assistant is freaking out, going like, oh, doctor, what happened to your face? You're like, no, calm down, love. It's me, innit? Doctor, what?
Well, it is called a Hooniverse now, so maybe we can get a Master series and a Dalek series and the Cybermen series. I'd love to see that. I'd like to see, different creative directions without all this politically correct bullshit. And if it didn't have all this politically correct bullshit, how can you inject it into a Dalek story? They're literally purpose-built to wipe out anything that isn't them. So I think it would do incredibly well in terms of viewership. I mean, the Daleks saved Doctor Who right as it started. And I think the Daleks can save the Whoniverse before Disney, who fucks it up because they are.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we've speculated a fair bit about the Terry Nation estate versus the BBC on the rights to the Daleks, and isn't the rule supposed to be that they have to be used at least once per season? Otherwise, that's the end of the BBC owning the Daleks. Maybe they've just decided they don't care anymore. I don't understand it, but there hasn't been even a mention of the Daleks.
But I think that's the Disney. I think that's the Disney influence because they don't really want to deal with third parties generally that aren't like juggernauts in their own right. So if that is, a blind spot on Disney's part, imagine a Dalek series, and imagine it staying true to what the Daleks are. People would lap it up, especially in the UK, because they are an iconic monster. And maybe in the finale, they exterminate, a time traveler. Can't call him the Doctor, but their ultimate
just another
enemy.
Time Lord.
Yeah, another time. Well, the Master is probably, copyrighted.
I don't
know.
I don't think you could really do a Dalek series because at the end of the day, people need the good guy to win. It's something that just people need. The story can't end with the bad guy winning for long. Eventually you need a Return of the Jedi to fix the Empire Strikes Back. That's a problem that you can do it, but people will only see it as a curio rather than say a proper full rounded story. The good guy has to win. But I'd love to watch a series of the Daleks tearing shit up. The only problem is they'd have to lose at the end. There's no way around it. But a season as seen from the Daleks perspective, done as a spin-off, I could watch that.
Well, the reason I bring it up is that Doctor Who's not in the best of shape now, so that's why you have to consider these ideas. But also, since it is Disney Who now, the MCU or the MCU, the most popular film of the MCU is Avengers Infinity War. All that build up, and guess what, folks? The villain actually wins and half of creation is gone. What a way they could have ended it right there. A complete twist, because usually the good guys win in franchises, don't they? But in that one moment.
Of course, yeah. But then The Empire Strikes Back is the most popular Star Wars movie as well. And that's where the bad guys win. Well, to some extent, anyway. They don't decisively win, not like Thanos. And also Revenge of the Sith. People love Revenge of the Sith as well, even though it's part of the prequel trilogy, because it's the bad guys win. But the problem is that it's something we all enter into a contract with ourselves and go, now I really enjoyed this, and oh boy, am I now feeling the intensity now that I've seen a film that doesn't have a happy ending, because now even more I need the next film to have a happy ending, which is probably why Avengers Endgame was so well received at first, and then later people start asking questions about it, much the same as people found themselves to be much less tolerant of the Ewoks on repeat viewings of Return of the Jedi. At the time, it was just about getting this shit done, get revenge on the Empire and move on. But so that's why you'd have trouble if you did a Dalek show. It would work as a curiosity, maybe a trilogy of episodes, but don't forget also just how infuriating it would be to have to listen to an entire episode where every single person on the cast is screaming at the top of their lungs like this.
It would be super cheap to do, though, because you wouldn't need to hire, star-studded characters. You just make these models, have Nicholas Briggs do all the voiceover work for an 8-episode season, and the bad guys.
The doctor? I don't know.
And the bad guys can be bloody peaceful aliens or something that we haven't heard of before.
You are gonna need one hell of a fucking writer to successfully make a Dalek series of all Dalek cast where there's actually some plot that keeps you gripped, besides just laughing your head off for the entire run of each episode.
In the pilot episode, they exterminate one race, and the second episode they exterminate another, and again.
But there's got to be some kind of there's got to be some Dalek version of human drama, like the village where I was cloned was destroyed by the Doctor. I will help you. You know, like
but people would love it. You know, you're supposed to take these aliens seriously, but people look how low the standards are, folks. Disney Who doesn't make us laugh anymore. It makes us cry and want to pull out what's left of our hair in all of our cases. A Dalek series, even if it was just one, even 8 episodes.
Kind of want to write
It would
that
be
now.
good. But this is Disney, so they'd have to do rainbow colors on the Daleks.
Well, this would be in the event, Dobby, that they're not used by Disney Who.
Oh, in which
and
case it
then
would be better.
the estate would be like, okay, then you're never going to have these characters again. Oh. You never know.
Dear.
You never know.
Anyway, I guess we can move on to the pertinent numbers then, which are obviously a pale comparison to the stuff we were seeing. Even actually, no, hold on. Let me get this back for a second, because the Christmas special is the first actual Gatwa episode, right?
Oh.
That would be Church on Ruby Road. Obviously, it's not listed as part of this season, even though on Disney it's considered episode 1 of and every other episode gets a +1 to the number on it. So instead of being episode 7, Legend of Ruby Sunday is listed on Disney as episode 8 of season 1. And this is just nonsense, just hibbity jibbity bullshit, you know. But anyway, 4.73 million overnight for that. That's obviously a boost for Christmas, because you've got a captive audience and everybody knows Doctor Who does very well at Christmas.
Yeah.
Because of course, even at my house, it was 100%. Whatever else you've done in the morning, presents, go to the pub for lunchtime, or whatever you've done, you have your Christmas dinner, somebody goes to sleep. If you're still awake, Doctor Who before guests arrive or whatever. But this is 7.49 million over the +7s for 4 screens. So there was still a significant interest. I mean, it did almost as well as the Star Beast. So even without just having the captive audience, there was interest because of David Tennant. Because of the new Doctor, because of Ncuti Gatwa. And what did we get? Because this, as we know, every episode is a referendum on the previous episode. So the interest that had accumulated for this new series that we've been watching is based almost entirely on the performance of Church on Ruby Road. And what do we see? But Jesus Christ, what is that? 55%?
Yeah,
remaining?
50 to 60% reduction, which just goes to show that the Church on Ruby Road is the worst episode Doctor Who has ever fucking had.
I mean, in one instance, you have literally carved your audience by a good 40+%, just like that. And immediately, with episode 1, with the space babies, which is a terrible concept. I mean, how do you convince someone to watch a Doctor Who episode called Space Babies?
That was 7 weeks.
1.
Yeah, that was 7 weeks ago. So it would have been May, late April, early May.
Yeah, it was.
And just
it
goes
was
to
May
show
7th-ish.
And you had the
11th.
you had the Christmas special, of course, Christmas Day 2023. Then you have like a few months later, like 3 to 5 months later, you've got the first episode. It just goes to show how much Disney Who has bled out in terms of support over such a small period of time with Doctor Who 2. It's dead on arrival. Just making that argument, if that was our sole narrative, then the opposition would completely collapse. Never mind the fact that the show has continued to bleed out.
I know. It also didn't help when you had fucking Church on Ruby Road and he starts doing a song and dance routine and then kills an entire ship full of time-traveling goblins just because.
There was nothing about that made any sense, was there?
He's just happy with that. He's like, oh yeah, I just killed a whole ship full of goblins. Who cares, right? And fans were like, this sucks.
Would have been so easy. A Dalek invasion of Earth. Doctor Who 2 stops them. blows up their mothership. At Christmas is saved. Just mix, I don't know, parting of the ways with a Christmas invasion, and you've got a solid Christmas special right there for Doctor Who too. RTD, if you're gonna rip things off, rip the best things off, and
if you're
don't
gonna rip
make
off
shit
yourself,
up. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, no, I mean, Church on Ruby Road. Yeah, the Doctor was established as what? Gay. And black, and potentially genocidal without asking any questions whatsoever.
How Rwandan of him!
And you forgot the crying as well. He just
he cried in that as well. Yeah. So I think there's only one episode at the moment where he hasn't cried.
That's because he wasn't in it.
Oh no, he didn't. No, he cried in Rogue. He didn't cry in. No, he did cry in Dot and Bubble because he had his massive meltdown at the end. He cried in. Oh, what was before that? Oh God, I'm starting to lose my mind. No, Boom was 3. Then it was 73 yards. He wasn't in that. He definitely cried in Boom. Did he cry in Devil's Cord?
Yeah,
I think he must have a bit. Yeah, he definitely cried in Space Babies. Which one am I forgetting?
Those aren't tears, Will. Those are actual fans leaving the show.
So the only episode so far that he hasn't cried in is Dot and Bubble. No, is 73 yards.
He wasn't in it.
And he wasn't in that episode apart from the very beginning of the end.
This series is so forgettable. We don't know which episode.
I'm forgetting the names now. They're all starting to run together for me. I need to get my own damn chart up because I've got the names in there. But
he kills all the space babies by just leaving them on their ship with the nanny. And you're meant to think, well, how exactly are they going to land on the planet in a ship that's got no landing gear? Oh, well, they'll just crash. No problem. Doctor doesn't care.
You'll be like Bring Down the Sky in Mass Effect. It'd be like, oh, yeah, Doctor Who has pushed their ship towards the planet, but it's not in synchronous orbit. He's literally doing a fucking Batarian-style terror attack on a planet. But I'd expect nothing less from a guy who looks like a black Batarian.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hang on, let's see if I can get my chart up for a minute. I don't know if I can do it with this. And I need to add the numbers too, because I haven't done it yet for a video about ratings. Hang on.
Shout out to all the Mass Effect fans watching, if you understood that reference.
It's my spreadsheet.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, if you could understand it. Because I like to keep a bit more of an idea of what the hell's going on with these numbers. So what did we get there from... what's that? 1.41?
Yes.
Increase? Right, I don't know what percentage that is yet because I haven't worked out. But, yeah, this is not good.
I think...
But... let's see. He cried. Oh, and also I've got my my notes on the right here of what could potentially inform.
5 out of 10.
Yeah, for Boom. Yeah, that's what I landed on. Because it was a Doctor Who episode. It wasn't a good one. If it was a good one, it would be an 8 or a 9, right? It's a 5 because it's a passable if weak Doctor Who episode.
You should give 73 yards a 5 out of 10 for not having the Doctor in it.
Well, I did put that as a positive, but I gave it 1 out of 10 because it wasn't a story. It failed the basic criteria of actually completing the story. It just didn't. There was no explanation for anything. And then, of course, for Rogue, I gave it a 0 out of 10. Based on the Doctor being a desperate, horny, gay man whore gyrating gay kiss birds Bridgerton. No green there, just red all the time. So there you go. These are my numbers. Yeah, so we got crying doctor, no doctor, crying doctor. I guess anybody's guess is as good as mine. Does anybody else feel that way? Because I feel that way. I really, really, really want this guy to get his head ripped off by Sutek and for Sutek to just win and doom mankind. I don't care. I don't care if the universe ends. I don't live in it, so it's fine.
But then they'd probably have to get Sutek to admit he has pronouns, and then they'll have to make him kind of either gay. He can be a gay lesbian demigod.
Do you know how Sutek escapes after losing? He says trans rights and simply disappears.
He says trans rights. The BBC shows up and saves him and carries him away.
But it's just the irony, though, ladies and gentlemen, that the most popular episode of season 1 of Disney Who doesn't have the Doctor in it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's actually the one with the most green. Yeah, I think that still stands at the moment. I haven't done the percentages for this yet, but basically, yeah, the number with the most red in it is Dot and Bubble. The number with the most green is 73 yards, and that's the one that doesn't actually have the Doctor in it. But then, don't forget, a lot of this is because of Man United versus Man City, and it turns out if you're on after football, then you can stand to benefit. But as it turned out, Legend of Ruby Sunday was on directly before a Euro opening round match between Italy and Albania. And I guess if anybody was tuning in to watch that, they made specially sure that they did not turn on a moment before the broadcast began, just in case they accidentally watched some Doctor Who.
and this show is being advertised to the moon by the BBC, folks.
And then
especially in America.
They have all their shills saying this is the best Doctor ever, and whilst we fans or ex-fans are like, yeah, what show are you watching? This isn't good.
Well, I mean, I'm still very much a fan of Doctor Who. It's just that this isn't Doctor Who. This is Doctor Woke.
You know what would be? You know what would be a great twist? Wink, wink. Is that the progressives are watching a different show? It's like they're recording two different versions of Disney Who, and we're watching one version, they're watching another, and that's why we're at each other's throats. And then,
I mean, they certainly are not seeing what we're seeing. If you're watching the same thing, which we obviously must be, they're seeing it in such a dramatically different way. That's the disconnect, is that people are brainwashed.
It would have been a great would have been a great thing to do, though, for Disney Who to actually, because there are 8 well, 9 episodes if you count the Christmas special. Would have been great if they actually made 2 different versions of the same episode, one for the BBC, one for Disney Plus, and then gaslight each side into thinking, no, this is what happened. No, this is what happened. Build up that kind of tension and rivalry, only for the final episode to be like, yeah, you both got fucked over. This is what really matters. And then everyone would be pissed.
And I think the BBC have become desensitized to the bullshit they're pushing out. Same with Disney. They're so used to pushing out the woke narrative that this to them is normal, that you have the Doctor sexually harassing Rogue, and that's fine according to them, because that
is what that was, isn't it? That is 100% what kind of behavior classifies as sexual harassment.
Because Rogue was just like chilling out,
minding his own business, doing his job.
And here comes the
then this man approached me. He approached me while I was at work, and then he asked me to go to his shed. He made sexually suggestive motions at me and sang dirty Kylie Minogue lyrics.
Then he said, "Don't worry, I'm a doctor."
Yeah, Dr. Shipman, maybe.
Oh my goodness!
Oh Jesus Christ!
Shed. That was the other line. This isn't my first shed. Really?
Yeah. He did that. That was what Rogue said. And the problem is that I don't know why there's so many problems, but one of the biggest problems with Rogue isn't the fact that he's importuning him whilst at work. It's the fact that Rogue just goes for it. He goes for it immediately. Like, just what are the chances that you can walk up to someone and just immediately start acting really inappropriately, especially for the time that they're in as well? It's 1813.
And maybe he's never had a black one before, Will.
Sweet.
Oh my.
I guess that might be a factor. I don't know. It doesn't make my opinion change whatsoever. I still think the entire thing is deeply inappropriate and grim to watch. But so basically, at the end, we're almost at the end of this series, right? And it's not very likely that they're going to do anything that dramatically changes the character of the Doctor.
No.
So from Christmas to now, what do we know about the 15th Doctor?
He's black, gay, and sexually harasses people, and then cries.
Just like his victims.
I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I was kind of hoping we could drag that out for a couple of minutes. Won't even do anything either, though. But besides being black, gay, and a sexual harasser, he's incompetent. He's literally useless.
Oh, yeah, he's incompetent.
He hasn't defeated anyone at all this entire series, Rev. He apart from the goblins, who he straight up genocided without knowing anything about them.
The thing with that is, he's like, nah, these are time traveling goblins. Well, kind of, you could develop the story. Nah, just going to kill them.
He impaled their ship on a church spire, and then they all died, and he didn't bat an eyelid. Any other Doctor would have probably really wrestled with that decision before making it. I mean, the Doctor even had a hard time. The 9th Doctor even had a hard time dealing with the sole living Dalek that he encountered immediately after the Time War, because he wanted it to die, but he didn't have it within him to be so merciless. He wanted to have it within him to be so merciless, but he wrestled with it. It took a whole bloody episode, then it all went tits up anyway. But
it's because in Gatwa's head, he was like, "This is for Rwanda," and then
goblins, goblins singing at Christmas. How dare you? You're stealing my gimmick.
Didn't the 10th Doctor literally depose a prime minister for destroying the Sycorax?
Without, when they were effectively fleeing, they retreated, and no one had died as well. I'm pretty sure there was. Did anyone die in the Christmas?
A few
tree?
people,
Well, I suppose the
were
Christmas
killed,
tree probably got taken out by the mannequins and trees of death at the beginning. But yeah, not that many people died, and then they gave up, turned around, and she blew him out of the sky in cold blood, and he deposed her. You're right. Absolutely. I need to go back and watch all them again.
Which then led to the year that never was, which then led to the Battle of Torchwood and all that. It just snowballed, and that's why the Doctor doesn't interfere in such things, because such things can go a bit haywire.
That's true. Chaos Theory suggests, the Battle of Torchwood happened as a result of him going back in the past and interfering with Scottish law, but the Harold Saxon shit happened because he deposed Harriet Jones because she shot the alien, the Sycorax down. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, everything happened as a result of that. So the Doctor is supposed to seriously consider the implications of his actions. That's one of the things that makes him such an interesting character, is that he probably could save the people that he sides with in a half second, but he often has to deal with the fallout of that, and also has to work out whether or not these species are redeemable in one way or another. He doesn't just go around genociding, but in Church on Ruby Road, he's like, goblins stealing my gimmick, singing at Christmas. Oh, no. I'm going to waste your ass. Doesn't care, and then proceeds to go complete pacifist. Or, no, he's not even a pacifist, really, is he? He's incompetent. They decided they didn't mind the snot monster in Space Babies. Then he failed to defeat the Maestro. He came up with the chord, but he screwed it up, and the Beatles fixed it for him while he was being trapped in a cello or something. Fuck my life. This is a double bass.
The Doctor literally split in two. Imagine if any human being split in two, we wouldn't be able to function. No wonder he's incompetent, because he's half a being, ladies and gentlemen. And I think Ruby Sunday as a companion would have been a great advocate avatar, especially if she was in the 60th anniversary. You know, a new companion of the new Doctor, who then sees the Doctor bi-generate and realizes, yeah, he's a lot more stupid now after he's bi-generated. Maybe there's something wrong, and maybe it's not the Doctor anymore. Maybe I should step in and learn what I've learned from the Doctor beforehand and take over. And then that's the ironic twist of fate. The Legend of Ruby Sunday is the big bad for
I mean, the Legend of
Doctor
Ruby
Who.
Sunday is a VHS tape's nickname.
That's
literally all it is.
It's fucking
pathetic.
mental. Just goes to show that an up-and-coming content creator can create more compelling storylines than a multi-decade veteran who revived Doctor Who and is now killing it through Disney Who.
It's bizarre. It's extremely bizarre. And also, just the way this Doctor conducts himself. So episode 3, he steps on a landmine. Not much opportunity to kill people there. The bad guy's an AI, so of course, and even he didn't defeat that. He ended up using the ghost dad, to Deus
Talk about white power. Even as ghosts, we prevail.
Did you just imply that a dead white guy is better than a black Doctor?
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right. So what happened? Episode 4, 73 yards. He's gone. Useless again. Definitely ain't defeating anyone there. No one to defeat in the first place. Dot and Bubble. What happened there? He failed to defeat anyone.
Yeah, and then he goes mental.
I mean, that's his biggest failure, really, don't you think? Like, he failed to intervene with what was going on between the vacuous bitches and the space slugs. He failed to save their homeworld. He failed to even gain access to Find Time, despite having a fucking sonic screwdriver, supposedly.
And a time machine.
And a time and space machine.
It's mental, because the superpower the slugs could have had was that they slow down time, and that makes them much quicker.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay. Fucking hell.
If you
He
get
couldn't
killed by
defeat a bunch of slugs. He couldn't defeat a bunch of slugs. He couldn't defeat an AI. It's not even an AI. They don't even say AI in that episode. It's just an algorithm that's gone amok. That's it. He couldn't defeat that.
Headshots.
And then he expects them all to go with him, and they won't. And he immediately assumes it's because he's black, despite the fact that he's never been black before. Not except, well, okay, I guess he has been black before.
Joe Martin.
But apparently he's never encountered the slightest bit of, like, pushback on his "I will save you" thing, and so he just has a massive spurg out. He just goes completely crazy, spits and screams and cries and stomps, and then shoots them a dirty look as they go to their deaths, and fails utterly to save anybody. Just this once, guys. Everybody dies.
And Ruby's just standing there going, "Get me the fuck out of this show."
She's
I'm
feeling
done.
sorry for him. She's looking at him all sympathetically. This is fucking trash TV.
I mean, the last episode, Rogue, was supposed to be a celebrity historical. I mean, it would have been great if Hutu announced himself as, "Hey, I'm the Doctor," and it's like, "No, you're not. You're black. Someone arrest this
You
guy."
must be a kitchen worker. Get in the kitchen. Yeah,
You're
I
the
don't know how
cook,
they did that.
not the Doctor.
Maybe he used a perception filter or something. I think that's been done before, hasn't it? I didn't the Master do that? I think Goldie would know. He was still watching during the Whittaker run. I think the Indian Master used a perception filter to appear white or something. That was their commentary on racism. That, and of course the Rosa Parks episode. Then what did we get after that? Then we got Rogue, of course. Rogue, he not only failed really to save anybody, because he lots of people died in that episode. At least 5 people died in that episode. Definitely more, because there were like 5 birds, right? And yeah, there were 5 birds who had killed at least 5 people, and we saw one of them kill like 2 people, and another person got killed. So at least 8 people are dead. The doctor doesn't really seem to care. He only encounters the dead bodies because he is pursuing Rogue.
Yeah, he fucks around
for casual sex. He's fucking around. He's looking for a shag. He's using his Sonic as grinder, and then he chases chases Rogue throughout the episode. And even when Rogue thinks he's the one who's killing people, he's more interested in twerking to Kylie than trying to do anything about it, resulting in multiple people dying and him failing to stop what he perceives as Ruby Sunday's death.
Yeah.
For all he knew, until she proved that she was who she is, Ruby Sunday had died while the doctor was trying to score.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is, how do we know there wasn't more than 5 furry birds? If they're cosplaying like a bunch of fuckers, for all we know, there could have been 10 or a dirty dozen. But no, there were only 5.
You had the fucking pigeon as a priest. Hey, I'm Pigeon Boy.
Goldie's only with us on Sundays for Who TF Live, and this show covers more than just Doctor Who. But we just happen to have so much Doctor Who to talk about that we're doing it on all the shows, because otherwise Who TF Live would be 5 hours long, and we don't have time for that.
No.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. With his pelvic thrusts in the guy's spaceship, that's what he's focusing on while people are dying.
Whilst it's
how can you watch that and think this is good TV?
And then he's standing willingly as Rogue walks around him, planting him in a fucking trap. He's too busy trying to get laid. Oh, what are these triangle things that you're planting around me? Duh.
He literally walked into that trap, just like he walked into the fucking fairy ring and he walked into the landmine.
140,000 fags boosted Rogue's ratings over the 7-day period, folks.
Yeah.
So shout out to those 140,000. 41% of you won't be a problem this time next year.
140,000 cigarettes. Yeah. No, it's embarrassing. He cries in every episode. He hasn't defeated anyone. The only time he ever did defeat anyone was a genocide. He's the most useless doctor there's ever been. He literally, this is why I laugh, because you say like, oh, we need the Daleks. Oh, we need blah, blah, blah. What the fuck is this guy going to do against the Daleks?
What's he going to do against Sutek?
He's going to twerk on them and they're going to die.
I'm starting to wonder if we're going to see that. I'm starting to wonder.
Yeah. I think the way he defeats Sutek is by sleeping with the creature.
You think he's going to seduce Sutek?
Yeah.
He's going to find out that Sutek is actually a white guy, and he'll be like, ooh, this could be fun.
Take me to Rwanda
oh my
to
God.
have a good time.
This is going to be terrible. This is going to be tragic. And it's no surprise then that the ratings are so piss poor, because, of course, as we haven't mentioned yet, in this show at least, 2.02 million for the overnights for probably the best, not the best overall episode, but the one that will get the most attention, the one that will be remembered the most of all of them. I mean, you could argue that, true to the same theory, that Empire Strikes Back and Infinity War will be remembered more fondly than Return of the Jedi or Endgame. It's always the one that sets up the bad guy that's remembered more. I certainly remember when the Master wins more than when he loses. You know, before the Doctor beats him with the power of wishing. I mean, that was pretty lame too, though. Let's not forget that Dobby Doctor was like resurrected by the power of thought in series 3.
Well, that's what happens, though, Will, when you can't end with either the Daleks or the Cybermen, because those are the two iconic characters.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I can see how Sutek would be perhaps even more of a threat. You could absolutely elevate Sutek to the level of Daleks and Cybermen in terms of like severity. This won't achieve that, because the Doctor is going to have to win. And that means that Sutekh is going to have to be defeated by the most incompetent doctor in the history of the show. The landmine guy, the fairy ring guy, the fucking grinder addict, the guy who spent more time walking through a VHS tape than trying to work out what was going on with this sinister technology. Just incompetent.
That's how they'll beat him. They'll trap him in a videotape.
Probably. Oh yeah, they probably will do that. That might actually that wouldn't be a bad bet. That sounds like an RTD finish to me.
And then he comes back a few seasons later because, say, the black woman, the old grandmother plays it and then gets possessed.
I'm the doctor.
Unleash the sand.
Oh no! And what about Mrs. Flood? Oh, I don't care. I don't care.
Mrs.
Yeah.
Flood
So
would
as a
be the
result,
hero.
the lowest in history,
And
the
keep in
lowest ever.
This
Go on, Rev.
and keep in mind, if you think if Star Wars Acolyte is bad, it had more ratings than this shit did.
Yeah.
That is something very interesting that I need to delve into more. I haven't had time yet, but as I normally do go into Samba TV and sites like Flix Patrol, I might have a quick look and see what we're seeing at the moment.
Yes.
A lot of people are saying that it's extremely significant how Star Wars The Acolyte is being touted as having done worse than Ahsoka. So it's something like 3 million people less than watched Ahsoka. And they don't announce that, but if you're in the know, if you're on our side, then that's what they're all running with. I think I saw Ryan Kinnell talking about how Acolyte got less than Ahsoka. So this is a failure. It's the least watched Star Wars property yet. And it's still dominating over Doctor Who.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I can get the date to come up. I'll put it back on the ratings for just a second. See if I can fiddle with this a bit and come up with a...
So I did my review on last night's episode, which was a shit show.
Oh, yeah?
It was like last night's episode was how the Jedi almost got completely killed by one Sith Lord by not realizing that there's a Sith on a planet whilst they're trying to hunt down a Wookiee Jedi in a fucking forest.
Is that the Wookiee, rather, that looks like Harry and the Hendersons? I haven't watched that show yet.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. You're getting thumped. But Bluey is overtaking it again, and Bluey isn't doing that well. Remember, Bluey, at its peak, got top 8, got 8th place overall on all platforms in its first week of the 3rd series. And then disappeared off them permanently.
Darby, don't diss Bluey. It's a great show, and it showcases a father in the household. A lot of black children should watch this show.
Oh, you bastard. You
The
savage.
truth is reality-based, Will. Hashtag 41% for life.
I'm seeing if I can find an update on the... Oh, okay. Okay. Hang on. Let's see. So we've got June 3rd to 9th. And that is the first time in months that Disney has appeared in the top 10. So number 7, The Acolyte. Number 7, it managed to get in with The Acolyte. Now, I don't know what kind of numbers the other shows did, but if I can find out. Okay, so House of the Dragon, is that in here? No. Too recent, I guess. Hitman, is that in the list? Yeah, number 1. Okay, so number 1 is the show called Hitman, and it's saying down here that got 1.8 million views. So across all platforms, Netflix having a 59% share of Gen Z free time spent watching streaming, while Disney has a 5% share. That is a total of 1.8 million views. And if we go back far enough, I can drudge up all the numbers again. Towards the bottom end, 8s, 9s, and 10s, you're looking at tens of thousands at best watching a show. So, yeah, the show that absolutely decimated Doctor Who in the ratings on Disney Plus got 7th overall. If you want Disney Plus to be the savior of Doctor Who, you're living in the wrong timeline, my friend. It's not happening. Oh, Hitman is a movie? Okay, thank you. I figured it was probably a show based on the video game or something. I'm out of touch. I'm busy. I just had a baby.
I'm middle-aged and a parent now.
I'm not gonna lie, that is the reason. Anyway, it doesn't matter because all it proves is that the overnights for Doctor Who are still the most relevant number that it can possibly get. And if your overnights are 1.1 million lower than the all-time worst the first time the show got cancelled, it's time to seriously readdress what the fucking hell you're doing.
Mm.
And that is all I got to say about that. Anything else before we move off of Doctor Who?
Oh, yeah. 1963 to 1996, 2005 to 2025. It's been a good run, folks. Hopefully it ends by the end of next year.
I don't see him getting a season 16. I so very much don't see that. Unless RTD is able to shag his way to like dirt on somebody at Disney, which is a distinct possibility from what I understand of the kinds of people who work at Disney. I'm not seeing it happen.
I did a stream on that because like the shill media are going, well, Shooty deserves to have a third season. No, he fucking doesn't. He wasn't even in this one. If he was in this one and if he was a credible Doctor, then okay, maybe he would deserve a better season. But no, he was barely in this. He was too busy doing sex education to care about being the Doctor.
Yeah.
Did it.
And now he's talking about going back to theatre. Should we get a Morris Gibbons spin-off series? Apparently Shooty Gat was off to ruin Shakespeare or something next. I'm not sure.
Dr. Midget, ladies and gentlemen.
Morris Gibbons, that's what we get this time. Remember when we used to have that kind of irritating character, Osgood, the woman who wore Tom Baker's scarf? What happened to her? Did she get killed off or something?
Master.
Yeah, one of them was killed and the other one was a Zygon. So
yeah, she got killed. Yeah, that's right.
But Morris, okay, I know he's a kid. I know he's everything. You got to be nice and all of that. But boy, the one-liners and by the end of the episode, it's like, how many more jokes are you going to say about trash?
Hey, you're not one to talk, Dobby. You look disabled, too.
Watch it, you.
And kicked. Oh, no. Ryan's on the bottom. He hates that.
I'm on top this time.
Yeah, that's because you're 4'5".
Oh, my God. Anyway, Doctor Who's fucked. The ratings are fucked. The show is fucked. Watch this space. In a few days, we'll have the last episode, and then we'll be able to start doing, over the next couple of weeks, like whole season wrap-ups, takeaways, that kind of stuff. I'm looking forward to this because I have had enough of this bloody show. I really have. I've seen almost all of it. I will stick the landing, review the last episode, and then it will be a nice 6-month reprieve before the Christmas special, which I'm sure is written by Moffat.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think it is. So it could be better, although Moffat tended to wank too hard on the fairy tale aspect with his Christmas specials. So they started to irritate me rather than being part of the larger canon. But oh well. I know that's an unpopular opinion. A lot of people really loved his Christmas specials. But there you go. Doctor Who's toast. And I'm looking forward to just debriefing on the next episode of WoTF Live. What a mess. What a terrible mess. Speaking of terrible messes, of course, we also have a choice now. Shall we? Let's go with Alyssa for a little while, shall we?
Dobby's favorite person, Alyssa Mercante.
I mean, is there anyone who doesn't despise this woman at this point? Apart from, of course, John Simpson and the rest of the people who also occupy Kotaku
Johnny
Detected.
Boy, yeah.
If
Johnny
I'm
the Cup.
reviewing a game, right, and that game is meant to draw in a lot of people, and people have been waiting a long time for this game, I wouldn't play the fucking victim and post on Twitwat and write an article about being a victim.
Yeah.
So this is Alyssa Mercante. She is a total and complete. She just, like, the thing with her is she's a professional victim. Nothing you say is ever right, everything that she does, she has to turn it against.
You're just secretly attracted to her, Dobby. You're secretly attracted to her. Full projection. You say you hate her, but you love her with your 4'5" frame.
Ew, gross.
TJab Steve has been a member for 3 consecutive months. Thank you very much. Yes, that's a very nice accomplishment. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to pronounce that first word. Is it Zeos or Chaos or Jaos or whatever? More green for the chat. And the reason he's saying that, of course, is because he is also gifted 10 Will of the Fans memberships. Thank you very, very much. Well, thank you very, very much for that. And so we will continue to see more and more names awash with green in the chat, which is always a lovely thing to see. You lucky people. Who's not lucky? Us.
Alyssa Mercante.
Why are we not lucky? Because we have to talk about Alyssa Mercante again. The woman who claims that she despises us, the woman who put bounties on our heads as YouTubers, the woman who just pretends all the time to be a victim, but in fact has brought every negative thing that's happened to her down upon herself like a torrent of reality. And you love to see it, because the more this woman does, the more she suffers. If she would just fuck off, then it would all stop. But I'm not going to stop talking about her because she's a muppet who needs to be talked about.
She's insane. She's an absolute insane creature, an agent of the entertainment establishment, a digital prostitute cosplaying as a video games journalist, and so long as she stays a problem, we will highlight said problem, whether it's Will, myself, Dobby, especially Atreus, because let's face it, Mercante is Atreus's type of woman. Like most Atreans, they're not picky when it comes to women, and it just goes to show if there was no problem to highlight, we wouldn't be here, and neither would she. She'd be sucking off Wiimotes or something. I don't know.
Okay, before we get into this, James Up for $2. Thank you very much, sir. Says memes in your email. Don't know if you've seen chat. Oh, yes, of course. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. I will check out my inbox in a second.
And while Will's doing that, here's a question for Dobby. Dobby, do your feet touch the ground when you sit on that chair?
Yes.
He's lying. He's lying. He really is lying.
These are pretty good. These are pretty good. I'll put them on first. Hold on a sec. Let's get one of these up. All right. And hold on. Sharing the screen. There's a nose ring mafia memes. Yeah, we can see. Because obviously Smash JT has started referring to them as the Nose Ring Mafia, which is a great name. It's certainly as good as any other, because they all do have fucking nose rings. They're all hideous people who want to de-beautify themselves and think that it makes them more beautiful, or they're so broken in terms of their self-esteem that they figure that shoving a bar of metal through the fucking center of their septum can't make it any worse. Well, unfortunately for them, it can make it a lot worse, and it does, invariably. Doesn't matter how ugly you are, it's nothing that a bar of metal through your septum can't make worse, okay?
And you can tell this meme was made by an American because they haven't spelt mafia correctly.
Mafia. Oh, yeah, M-O-F, yeah. Mafia, yeah. Well, I still like the name Nose Ring Mafia. You better have my 7 mil. I like it. Sweet baby games journalist, the Nose Ring Mafia. And, of course, a reference there for Atreus to enjoy. Better learn how to squabble. And have you seen this? Have you actually had a look at this yet? Because this is the... I'll zoom in a bit. This is the Game Science logo. And it normally is color negative, so it's black text on a white background. And people are saying this looks like a sperm. Okay, I mean, lightning bolt sperm, that's some powerful fucking swimmers. But first of all, it's usually black, not white. And secondly, if something looks like a sperm, when we were in school, when I was a kid, we were taught that sperms looked like what? What animal?
Go ahead, Bobby.
Oh, fucking God. Yeah, so I mean, for all you know, it's just a very tenacious tadpole. There's nothing here to say that it is a sperm cell. How dare they be so presumptive? It's just something that irritated me. That's the way my brain works, and I'm not apologizing for it. I don't see there's anything wrong with this. If they want to have a sperm for their logo anyway, who gives a flying fuck? They can. It's their logo. They can do what they want with it. And second meme then. Hang on a second. Let's get it in the tab here. And we've got Wicked Witch of the West, Alyssa Mercante, Cackle Cackle, and your little PC games too. Very good. Very good. Well done.
That must be Atreus.
Seriously, Ryan, you need to consider making this your new logo. Look at that. That's hideous. That's what they look like when they get a nose piercing. If you want to walk around looking like a bull, that's up to you. But
Well, they are bullshitters, so...
Yeah, they produce the same amount. Yeah, very nice. I like that.
Good job.
That's good fun. So why are we talking about Alyssa Mercante then?
Because
she wrote a review on the Elden Ring DLC. She found it difficult to play. These aren't her types of games, and of course, she compared the difficulty of this game to all the constant and consistent harassment that because that is not a woman, has experienced over the past 3 to 4 months.
Yep. She has managed to turn herself into quite the meme, really, hasn't she?
And this is the first. Yeah, this is the first games article or review I have ever seen her release.
Yeah, me too. I forgot there's a third meme, by the way, which has a bone through her nose. There you go, Ryan. Just for you there. Just proving that she's primitive beyond belief. Come fight Mare physically, bitch. That's probably what she'll be remembered best for. That really broke into the mainstream, besides just our little corner of the internet.
Come fight me physically, bitch.
She got parodied by Chrissy Mayer based on that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, only that. There's a library of stuff they could have used for that they didn't.
Well, they're boomers practically in internet terms. They may be prominent, but they are almost entirely, they're like 50.
They're just not
40,
as involved
50,
in this as we
60.
are.
They're old boomers. There we go.
Anyway, thank you very much, James Up, for sending those. I appreciate it.
She's meant to review a fucking game.
Finger bone. Ugh.
Like
fingering her nose. Gross.
She's meant to review a really good game, and yet she has to play the victim. So if I was her boss, right, and I saw this review, I'd fire her. I'm like, talk about the fucking game, not about your feelings. Like,
Wait, Dobby's trans? I had no idea.
Ew.
Wait, what?
What?
What did I miss? What the fuck?
I'm confused.
What are you talking about?
Though I will say...
What the fuck?
Though I will say before we move forward in terms of this article, the irony of me calling, prominent creators old when I look their age, despite being half their age, truly is so ironic that Gatwa can cry me a river.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Why are you running?
That's what
Why are you
Atreus.
running?
That's what Atreus says when his date doesn't pay the bill.
Oh my god! Wow!
Although he does dress very well. Did you guys see that picture of Atreus with his
Dresses
lady
nicer
friend?
than you do.
Yes, I dress like a Pakistani tramp in the United Kingdom. Yeah.
What the fuck? Where the hell did that come from?
Oh my god! Wow!
I wear tracksuit bottoms and then pristine shoes.
You smug
Oh my!
Dear, oh dear. I'm going to need some more emojis, I think. Guys, if you finish watching this stream or you watch it on replay, leave a comment. Tell me what emojis I should be making. We definitely need some more for Ryan. Anyway. Yeah, so in a feat of, I don't know what you can call it, everybody, even a broken clock is right twice a day. There you go. Alyssa Mercante appears to have done some actual work for Kotaku. Like, not what she calls work, which is trolling the internet for people to antagonize. But no, she's actually written an article about a game. But it's riddled with comments about her personal life and her attacks against us and what she perceives as harassment from us. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, so there's new DLC out for Elden Ring, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I still haven't played Elden Ring. I wish I had, but I haven't really got into the Souls thing. I didn't have time. It became a big hit when I was moving countries, and I'm still catching up, and I kind of missed out on the Soulsborne thing, but I will get around to it. I'm sure I'm a good enough gamer to handle it. But anyway, Elden Ring is probably the one I want to play the most because of its being an open world RPG as well as a Souls-like game. So I am curious as to that, and I guess the DLC is as good a time as any. And she's written a review of it, of the Erd Tree, Shadow of the Erd Tree. Massive, menacing, and magnificent. Ooh, alliteration there from Alyssa. How nice.
Well, she did graduate at Newcastle University with a degree in English language and literature, so she's putting it to good use.
How much did she pay for that then?
It's ironic though, because her ability with English is pretty inconsistent. I don't know how much she paid for it. Probably too much, like every university. Anyway, so she writes, and we'll even though I've already highlighted the comments, let's just read it as if we're reading a game review and we're looking for information about a game. It says, hours into playing Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, the massive singular expansion for From Software's award-winning 2022 action RPG, I realize it's paralleling my real life.
What the fuck?
Seriously.
This isn't a menopause simulator, woman.
Simulating my real life.
Stop it. Get some help.
So her life is in purgatory, fighting big-ass creatures and getting killed every 2 seconds. All right, gotcha, Alyssa. Thank you for telling us that.
We're all like Dark Souls like bosses. We're all Elden Ring bosses, and when you fight me, you can just hear my catchphrases. I'm going, keep on going and keep on growing. The truth is reality-based.
The truth is reality-based.
Yeah.
And we all say our catchphrases, and Atreus says, we squabbling, we squabbling, 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 we squabbling, 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 we be squabbling, squabbling, squabbling. There we go.
We just lost 40 viewers. No, that's good. But anyway, she says, until Elden Ring, I avoided Souls-likes. Well, I hate to play Poindexter, but Elden Ring is not a Souls-like. It's a Soulsborne because it's actually made by FromSoft. So, and if you don't like that, I got a whole TikTok video for you. But she says their punishing difficulty and rigid boundaries frustrated me immensely. Yeah, well, you know, the thing is, Alyssa,
rigid boundary.
This is Alyssa kind of psychoanalyzing herself. She can't handle anything that's difficult or rigid, apparently. And I know there's going to be dick jokes, of course, but apparently not, because in the truest non-sexual sense or non-connotative sense of the word rigid, that's basically what YouTubers are to her. Just a brick wall she cannot get through. She cannot stop us. She cannot make us bend. We see what she does and we reflect it back in her. Like a U-shaped cannon, she keeps shitting it. That's basically it. She doesn't like difficulty, guys. Who could have fucking told?
Well, if you can't handle the heat, get back in the kitchen. But since you're a woman, get back into that fucking kitchen and make me a sandwich.
There it is. There it is.
Thanks, Ryan. There goes the monetization. Sorry, Will.
There's the monetization's gone. Yeah, of course, it's always gone. We always lose it. That's why I depend on the kindness of strangers.
He hasn't even said 2 words yet.
I know he hasn't even said that combination of words that can make any YouTube partner manager clench.
I'm trying to fuse the perfect form of channel suppression. It's
All
like
you have to do is
harnessing the atom, for goodness sake. It's not easy trying to create a super weapon.
Yeah. But of course, you can still say tranny.
Nah, demons, like demons.
So you can just do it that way. That's my concession to you. Anyway, so she carries on. She talks about the games, blah, blah, blah. She says, in the real world, I have mostly avoided the ire of homophobes and misogynists in the... What are you talking about? Like, if you don't know who this woman is and you don't know anything about her, which is, let's say, to be generous, a large contingent of people reading Kotaku are just... If you're just out there, you've Googled Elden Ring review and you've somehow found this... Are you going to keep reading after the second paragraph? No. Fuck no. You've just lost your audience, you dumb bitch. Don't talk about stuff that you're not supposed to be talking about. Only we can do that on this show. Anyway, she keeps going on about that. She says, but now I am willingly subjecting myself to arduous adventure, running headfirst into a proverbial wall just to shake it off, back up, and run into it again. Yes, but what are you doing in the game, Alyssa?
I watched a video about this situation from Atreus, and I shit you not, he could not say arduous. Yeah,
couldn't say arduous?
No, he couldn't pronounce it. He couldn't say it properly.
What did he say?
Was fucking, what was it again?
Aridus or something?
Yeah, something like that. Oh, Christ, I was laughing for half a minute.
Yeah, she does.
Literacy.
She's famous for pissing off the YouTubers. And DC's got a point there. She thinks she's famous, but she's famous for being a total moron.
She's infamous. I mean, she's a lol cow. She doesn't even realize it. I mean, that's obviously a typical quality of a lol cow is that they have no idea that they are a lol cow, but that is exactly what she is.
I mean, who in the games industry is homophobic or misogynistic or transphobic? You fucking purged them from the industry. That's why people like Grums, very, very talented people who have worked for mainstream games companies. Great example would be Blizzard Entertainment as one clear example. A company so bad that most of the people who made it at its best are now gone, are now doing their own projects and their own games, which will probably end up being better than the projects Blizzard releases.
If the games industry goes the way that it should, then unfortunately a crash is coming, but it will be a crash uniquely in the AAA space, and indie games will rise to fill that. AA titles will rise to fill that void, I hope. And in that way, maybe we can get a lot of these people out. But it's all a bit Inglourious Bastards, because if you've seen the Tarantino anyway, you know, with the carving the swastika into their heads after the war, after they get out, because otherwise there's going to be an awful lot of people who were incredibly supportive of all of this woke tyranny, this nose ring mafia behavior, who are then, when it all crashes and the bubble bursts, are going to try and quietly creep back into the industry and pretend that they didn't do anything to piss all of gamers off. And these people, unfortunately, need to be outed and blacklisted from the industry. That's unfortunately what it has to be. But you've done this to yourselves. You have become the cancer. You think you're the cure, but you're not. And if it takes a radioactive blast to get rid of them, then so fucking be it.
Well, Blizzard have just lost John Hoyt. He's quit.
Yeah, so I know. I saw.
There's that whole kind of thing as to, okay, did he do something? Was he just pissed off at the wokeness?
Well, there's so many people who are leaving the industries right now. I mean, you saw Alex Kingston calling out cancel culture for Doctor Who. There are people leaving Nintendo because they don't want to work for NOA under the new guidelines. It's happening, and it's steady. but it is necessary, unfortunately. Of course, we've still got the journalism side to worry about. And as we can see here, Alyssa Mercante thinks that playing a video game where you fight tough bosses is the same as pissing off absolutely everybody with harassment. But she continues, I mean, what kind of a mad narcissist writes a game review that includes the phrase, outside of the lands between and the Shadow Realm, I have spent nearly 4 months as the subject of a near endless harassment campaign.
Hopefully the first 4 months of many, you stupid bint. My goodness. Without this woman, ladies and gentlemen, I probably would never have been able to interact with Smash JT, to have a good catch up with him after a good few years, after spotlighting him as an early rising star. Without this stupid woman, for lack of a better term, I wouldn't have had a great series of talks with this fine gentleman. And that's just one example of many of how this problem has brought so many people together to find the solution to said problem, which is to showcase her for how batshit crazy she is, and let the people decide whether they're progressive or libertarian or conservative in nature, who's correct. It's the majority who decides who's right or wrong.
Agreed. Yeah, 100%. Juman has just, I assume, renewed his membership because he's already on the gold badge. So welcome back. Just shouting that one out there random because it's in the middle of something and we don't have a block of them yet. So yeah, so she's comparing playing this game to and again, she genuinely 100% believes, guys, that she is the subject of a harassment campaign.
Yeah, she's the one harassing us.
She's literally the organizer of her own harassment campaign against Grums, against Smash JT. She started off casting a wide net. We all saw this when she tried to dox all of the SBI detected users and the Discord group for that. Then she refined it down. She tried to take shots at Melanie Mac, but Melanie Mac wasn't playing any games with her. She focused on Grums and tried to do everything to him, but nothing came of that. And then since then, she's contacted Smash JT's wife, been complicit in attempts to dox him and his family. And God, what else?
Put us on a list.
Yep,
oh, she put us all on a list, of course, yes. Despite claiming that lists are tantamount to harassment, she's put all of us on a list. So she's insane. First of all, there is very little organization to this alleged campaign. It is all a bunch of loosely associated individuals who, of their own volition and their own life experience, have seen her behavior and decided that it ain't gonna fly. We aren't gonna let her get away with this, especially when she starts personally attacking people who and I mean, what the fuck? How can you be so lacking in any and all self-awareness?
She doesn't know what self-awareness is. She's a fucking brain dead.
Highlighting the problem is not harassment. Finding the solution to said problem is not harassment, ladies and gentlemen. If this woman wasn't a problem, no one would highlight her. If she was doing good things and being a positive force for video games journalism, I'm sure a few creators out there, maybe not prominent ones, but a few creators would showcase her in a positive light. But let's face facts, people. You don't make a name for yourself showcasing solutions. You make a name for yourself showcasing problems and then find solutions to said problems. And this woman is just the gift that keeps on giving. We're all highlighting the problem with her, how insane she is, how she tries to gaslight everyone into oblivion and play the victim. And all that is happening is that she is gaining a nice little cult fellowship for her for when Kotaku ultimately collapses, while all those who are critical of her and her insanity are making names for themselves in the process. So good
That's
luck,
it.
Mercante. You should have shut that top mouth up and opened up the bottom mouth. It would have done way better for you.
Look, she is she's hilariously unself-aware. But the other thing, of course, is that she doesn't really want to write about video games. She might play them, maybe, but she's at best a casual. And I don't believe for a second that she's any kind of hardcore gamer. I think she only works at Kotaku because maybe she used to like video games, but now she's been radicalized. She wants to be writing for the Mary Sue or for Forbes or somewhere like that. But of course, if she wants to
Bloomberg.
Yeah.
CNN.
But if she wants to write for them, she's going to have to become a much better writer because she sucks ass right now. She does, however, though, compare us to a boss in a video game because she says that logging on for a day of work, what is that then? Just hitting up Twitter and trying to dox people. Okay, nice work. She says it's akin to walking through a boss door over and over and over again. Then give up or get good, scrub. Anyway, she says she's talking about I subconsciously attack Shadow of the Erd Tree with dogged determination, as if besting a boss would bleed into my everyday and imbue me with a higher tier of self-confidence. You act plenty confident enough, bitch. Fight me physically. You need self-confidence? Oh, yeah. Almost as if all our psychoanalysis was correct. But she continues, much like how it feels to receive near endless hate comments from anonymous accounts or angry middle-aged men.
I took fucking issue with this last statement. I'm 24 years old. I'm not middle-aged, you dirty menopausal bitch.
I'm middle-aged, but I don't look it. So that's nice.
And we're not mothers. That's the thing. It's not like we
has AIDS, so it doesn't count.
Anyway, there you go. Alyssa Mercante. She's pathetic. It's getting more and more tiresome, like dealing with her at all. I'm not going to stop. People like her need to be exposed for what they are.
I mean, almost
learn that when you mess with the bull, you get the horns. You know. Go on.
And if Will's going to talk about it on this show, I might as well make a video on this complete psycho bitch from his show, and then get initially put on the list without him on it. That really annoyed Will, folks.
That drove me crazy. Yeah, I was like, how can I not be on that fucking list when I'm in the videos that got you on it? It's my show. Then I discovered that I was on the list, and it was a clerical error.
Look at all these white/white adjacent people. Look at them all. Look at that name. Ki-Hoon Chan. That sounds like something you'd order from a Chinese restaurant.
It sounds like something a racist would say is something you would order from a Chinese restaurant.
No, that sounds like something you would order from a Chinese restaurant, a Korean. Yeah.
With all these people, they're like a bunch of fucking clowns, like pink hair, red hair, purple hair, and then you've got Alyssa Mercante, like a four-eyed fucking dwarf.
You're not one to talk, Dobby. You look into a mirror recently?
Anyway, the reason these two are on the screen in particular is because they're responsible for the other story we have to cover, which, of course, is the extortion that has been committed by Sweet Baby Inc., apparently. And you see how we just always end up coming full circle all the time. It never ends. Just as soon as we think that one thing has moved on to another, the first thing comes back. And so Sweet Baby Inc. once again. Because Rebecca Valentine of IGN, because you can't spell ignorant without IGN, has decided to, well, it was actually last year that she wrote a piece about our favorite game company with a sperm for a logo, apparently, Game Science, and their game Black Myth Wukong, which of course is again based on Sayuki or Journey to the West, which is the most prevalent of Chinese folklore involving the Monkey King, Sun Wukong. There's your sperm logo. And of course, everything, a lot of stuff has been based on this. Even Dragon Ball initially was based on Sayuki Journey to the West, with Son Goku being Son Wukong. And it looks really good, this game. I don't know what you guys think, but I think this looks damn decent. I'd play this.
Solid.
I mean, there's
Very
a giant
sharp.
spider in it, which terrifies the life out of me. I can't stand giant spiders in video games, but I got through Skyrim, so I'll get through this. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to grab this. It looks fantastic. It's got, I mean, the gameplay is clearly Soulsborne style. You've got very interesting. I don't know that much about the original Sayuki or Journey to the West. I'm Dragon Ball. I know everything about that, but I know basically what Son Wukong is supposed to be with the Niue bow, riding around on a cloud, because that's where that came from. But what I don't know, I'm very interested to find out from looking at this game. And based on the trailer, top tier. It looks fantastic. I mean, look at his crown there. We've all seen that before if you know anything about the character or the lore. And unlike Enslaved Odyssey to the West, which came out, God, nearly 20 years ago now, I guess, and completely flopped because of a lack of marketing, this one has gone straight to the top of the wish lists of everybody on Steam, principally because of this hit piece and what we've learned as a result of it. Now, this is Wayback Machine. This is Rebecca Valentine and your order, sir, from the Chinese restaurant.
Order. Ki Hun Chan.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's fucking long. But yeah, this was their article that they wrote together, apparently, a year ago. Well, no, more like 8 months ago. How Black Myth Wukong developers' history of sexism is complicating its journey to the West. Well, that's an ironic title now, really, isn't it? Because it doesn't seem to have happened like that. In fact, it's the history of anti-sexism, which of course is just misandry, in game journalism that is completing this game's journey to the West. But if you look at the actual article, it's riddled with phrasing like this, where beneath the luster of the Souls-like is a studio plagued by claims of sexism that contain multiple references to genitalia, phrases that contain multiple references to genitalia and sexual innuendos. A backlash among some in the games community, many of whom are women, coupled by recruitment posters in the studio produced in 2015, which featured images and headlines that point to a culture of ingrained sexism in game science. Sexism, guys, sexism! It's always about this. Innuendo-laden lines, like this line where someone wrote, I want to expand my circle and hire more people, get licked until I can't get an erection. That's the quote.
If only that were true.
Unfortunately, though, that actually has a fair explanation to it. If you don't know already, that is actually a slang expression in Chinese that basically means getting complimented so much that you end up going completely limp from being massaged, effectively. That's what they mean. It's got nothing to do with sex, but you can see how that would be hard to interpret if you are trying to do it in bad faith.
Which is what these idiots are doing.
Entirely, absolutely right. Yeah. And
I
the
mean,
quote
I look
says,
at that quote and I get it, and yeah.
I mean, we have phrases like that. None of them are springing to mind right now, but you know. We do. There are plenty of phrases like that in English, especially in English, because it goes back so long.
Oh yeah, if you want to be in reality-based, for example, reality-based has got to be in you.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Reality-based.
Yeah. Several lines down, he also added, I know you just happen to be a little depressed. It is my honor to provide you with some comfort in the lower half of your body.
Jesus.
He later doubled down with a separate comment saying, I got wet after watching it a couple of times. The pressure in my crotch is immense. Again, if you take that out of context and translate it into English, it sounds really suspicious and inappropriate. But in Chinese, to Chinese people, it's idiomatic or sociomatic language that absolutely stands as just phraseology, the colloquial phrasing. You can't translate slang. It doesn't work like that. It's like if I said bugger off to someone. And basically it means go away, leave me alone, you're bothering me. But if you translated it literally, I've just asked someone to go and sodomize someone else. You know, like
bugger off, race muncher.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It could, anything can be taken out of context from another language. So you're doing this in bad faith, and using it as a way to try and make yourself look like you've got broad horizons, especially when you've co-written it with a Chinese person who is clearly suckling the freaking commie Kool-Aid as well. So there's that. According to this, go on.
You would think that these fucktards would actually hire a proper translator with the amount of money they've stolen from people. Why not get a fucking proper translation?
Well, the reason is because then they can't push their message.
Yeah, they've got to be the victim.
They choose to do this in bad faith. They choose to mistranslate things in order to push their message. What do you think vocalization is? There's a reason I still haven't finished playing Eiyuden Chronicle. The dialogue started to drive me insane. All this millennial slang in a game that's supposed to be in a fantasy setting, it doesn't work. It annoyed me, and I haven't played the game for however long since the last time you were watching me play it, Ryan. That is how long it's been. I just gave up. I was like, I can't be bothered. Yeah, and I was waiting for that game for 4 fucking years. That's how their shitty games with language and localization can completely destroy a game. Maybe I will get back to it one day. I don't know, play it in Japanese instead or something. It says in the post, he pointed out, she's talking about the lead artist and co-founder Yang Qi. I guess, I don't know, maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. It says, we're holding a heavy machine gun and shooting at governments in your dreams. What the ladies are dreaming about are bags that would make their friends jealous. Now, is that sexist or is that just accurate?
That just sounds confusing. That sounds like a mistranslation.
He's saying that guys will dream about taking down powerful enemies with big guns, and women are dreaming about getting beautiful handbags and stuff.
I mean, like...
Are you allowed to say that in China?
Yes, absolutely. You're allowed to say that in China. You're allowed to say it in Japan. You're allowed to say it in the Philippines. I've told you many times that you get bumper stickers in this country.
Dreaming of bringing down a government and saying that publicly in one of the most repressive countries on planet Earth does seem a bit surprising to me, Will.
Maybe. Hang on a moment. Let me see if I can find an example of this.
Maybe China really has changed. I don't know.
Here is a picture of something you can get in the Philippines and display on the back of your car, and it be taken 100% seriously and not treated as sexist in any way, shape, or form. You can absolutely have this, and people will go, "Oh, I'd better be careful." Asia does not fucking care about what the West thinks. They don't. And to be fair, lady drivers in the Philippines are kind of shit. So anyway, so this is bad faith interpretation of Chinese. That's all we need to go through. I could go through this forever, but we're running out of time. So we'll move on. It was brought to everybody's attention through Grums and this X account, Pirate Nation or Pirate Nation, saying effectively that what they had done was team up with Sweet Baby Inc. And they had attacked this game because Game Science refused to communicate with groups like Sweet Baby Inc. and rejected their interference. Most importantly, they refused to pay the exorbitant $7 million in guidance fees. So if you are so fucking retarded that you are desperate to get a DEI consultancy firm to oversee your game, you're gonna also have to pay $7 million for Sweet Baby Inc. It's terrible. But don't forget, of course, the thing, I'll put it on the screen again because we all
Go
know.
have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them. With the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
But hey, that's just a theory. A theory.
There you go. That is Kim Belair, CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., telling people who work at game studios that it is their mission to drag companies like Sweet Baby Inc. in and basically threaten. Well, now we have the answer for what the threat is, because she said terrify them with the idea of what's going to happen if they don't bring in companies like Sweet Baby Inc. Well, now we know what the thing is that will happen if they don't bring in companies like Sweet Baby Inc. and turn everything into a woke feminist nightmare. Well, you're going to get articles like this.
And they call us grifters. Maybe we should call them hustlers.
I mean, they're the grifters. I mean, the same meaning, really. But yeah.
I mean, the reason
anyway,
I say that, though, Will, is that grifter is small scale, petty swindling. I mean, really hustling someone? Now, that's where the big boys play. Maybe they should start calling us hustlers instead of grifters.
Well, thanks to them, we are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So there's that. Anyway, there's this line here, which was presented at the end of this, and I have translated it and can put it on screen, where it says the reason why Black Myth Wukong has been deeply attacked and slandered by so-called sexism from the first promotional video to now essentially is because they have refused guidance from overseas political correctness related coaching teams and paid coaching fees starting in the millions of dollars. In fact, there are many teams in Europe and the United States, and they have profoundly interfered with the works in the Assassin's Creed series, Dying Light 2, God of War, etc. A series of notoriously ugly heroines. Guys, have we also been making videos about ugly women in games? Yes, we have, were the direct result of interference from the politically correct leadership team. The game science team refused to communicate with them, refused to let them interfere, and most importantly, refused to pay the starting guidance fee of at least $7 million. Jesus fucking hell. This also directly led to each rejected team to manipulate the media. Some were blinded by money or themselves. The main reason why big Vs who have interests related to them are so crazy about criticizing them. To give the simplest example, one of IGN's main contributors, a woman named Rebecca Valentine, is also a member of a certain political correctness guidance team, Sweet Baby. So, back we are then to the woman who wrote this article, Rebecca Valentine, who is part of Sweet Baby Inc. as well.
Well, we truly have gone full circle. We've gone from calling it politically correct to woke back to politically correct. Remember when there wasn't really a term to define these people, and then suddenly woke became that term? It's great that we're now calling these people what they are, politically correct ponces who utilize social justice tactics and use identity politics as a shield to defend themselves. Those are the three components of wokeness, and when they fuse together, that is woke ideology, folks. They have their 3 steps to victory. That's why they've been so effective.
This is a good question here. Should we create a based baby company? Perhaps we should. Maybe I should look into that. Yeah. Pay me, I don't know, a couple of £1,000, and I'll come and tell you how to get rid of all this shit in your game and actually make money. Because this is the problem, of course, as it goes on, it becomes more and more obvious that when you've paid the $7 million in consultancy fees, what happens to your game? It bombs. Look at Tales of Kinzera, Zao, that game that now has to be sold for $15 because at best it had 240 something peak concurrent players on Steam. A Sweet Baby Inc. game made after Sweet Baby Inc. was first detected, released, bombed so completely it cannot get players. The guy is actually giving it away sometimes. Some days he just sets it to free to get people to play it. So basically, this is the point, as Grums puts it. This is the quote, of course, that I just played in that video from Kim Belair. But here's the pretty much the standard operating procedure. Sweet Baby Inc. hire us or else. Reporters support it, writing hit piece articles and run defense for consulting companies. Play down the racket as a conspiracy theory. Alyssa Mercante write hit piece on Brutus Rambo for exposing Sweet Baby. Rebecca Valentine defends Alyssa, writes hit piece article on Wukong, leading to another shakedown. And around, Jason Schreier gaslights you when it's all exposed, saying it's not happening. We have literally stumbled onto the final piece of information that we needed here to ascertain exactly what it is that Sweet Baby Inc. does. And it is a racket. This is why I said, if you want to talk about the woke mob, you should be thinking not of angry Antifa nutters with talks. You should be thinking mobsters, woke mobsters, because that's what it actually fucking is.
And it's a step.
Wing mafia.
Yeah, it's a pattern. It's a step-by-step motion, full of organization, full of collusion. It is a harassment campaign in the realest sense, and thank goodness it is showcased. The problem has been found. Now we highlight it. Now we showcase it to as many people as possible, and the more people who showcase it, the more likely action can be taken, which is the solution. And then together, as Darby puts out, we can all be the change we want to see and annihilate these fuckers from the industry, because they're a plague, they're a disease. That's why I compare them to a disease in what they have done to our civilization. But knowing how they do it is half the battle.
Absolutely. Yep. You're right. Anyway, here's a few of the quotes that were mistranslated by what's his name? Ki-Hoon Chan.
The Chinese meal order.
Number 40 on the menu. There we go.
Number 40. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Number 40 with fried rice. Thank you. Fried rice. Anyway, Jesus Christ. So this is a quote from, I think it's from the game. It's all done a little out of context, so correct me if I'm wrong. But the quote anyway is, "The snake spirit is different from what I had imagined, but if I cover the bottom half with my hand, it's still possible to jerk off." What? That's the quote. Anyway, that is the quote.
Stop it. Get some help.
But the actual quote, that's what as far as I understand it, Mr. Number 40 at the local Chinese restaurant provided as a quote. But the actual context, allowed version is, "It's not what I expected, but it's not impossible to cover the bottom half of the body with your hand. It's not impossible." Another one. Well, no, this is just basically explaining that one. Someone put here, "The report is a joke, mistranslation on purpose. How could they mistranslate 'you will be used to it' to 'you can jerk off with it'? It's clearly an intentional mistranslation to fit the sexism narrative." And who was interviewed? Ki-Hoon Chan. He has his own political agenda. There's the other line that we read earlier. "I want to be licked until I can't get an erection." It says here, the text literally translates to "want to expand the circle and recruit a few more people, but got licked to the point of being unable to get an erection." The phrase is a used idiom in the Chinese language as a colloquial expression used humorously or sarcastically to describe a situation where excessive flattery or sycophancy has an overwhelming and paralyzing effect on someone. The use of such metaphors can be found in informal speech or social media. So, like I said...
Could you imagine me saying that? "Oh, I'm getting so much praise, it's impossible for me to get an erection." Like, what the
And
fuck?
of course, I know. Let's just have a little more of a laugh then, because it turns out that Rebecca Valentine herself, that would be the woman who kind of looks like a teacher with Down syndrome or something. She decided. I mean, I think she's basically the exact woman for whom the phrase "frumpy" was invented. So there's that. But anyway, she says, "Oh no, a washed-up clown man figured out I think women are people. Whatever will I do?" Then, of course, because they cannot respond in any kind of professional way. Yeah, I know. God help anybody who's just joined the chat. I know. If you've just joined us, you've missed some context. Go back and have a look. Okay. It says, "I don't really have the time or interest in getting into a fist fight with a little baby, so I'll continue to not be on Twitter and do actual journalism about actual fucking issues. Peace." Well, if actual journalism amounts to effectively shaking down a game studio so that your buddies at Sweet Baby Inc. can get $7 million, then you can go right ahead and fuck right off, because no one is going to read anything you say.
Yes, a liar. Caught in the act. Run away now.
100%. She's effectively the consigliere. She's the the guy who handles the law and stuff like that for the mafia. She's the propagandist for him. That's it. Anyway, what's that, Rev? You clipped it. Fair enough, mate.
I'll just
one
say
more
it's a
thing.
deep fake. I've also clipped these. There we go.
Whatever. Go clip yourselves. I just found out the post they're mad about where they think IGN and SBI are extorting game science for 7 million because Czech notes a random Chinese tech blogger they read in translation on Twitter says so. LOL LMAO. Use both.
Oh my
okay,
gosh.
bye. Who puts lol lamao
Nobody.
like together? That's
Nobody.
That's
does
like
that.
it's like you're lolling at the lamao.
Valentine is criticizing the Chinese Communist Party leader. Take the L, Mao. She should be arrested by the Chinese authorities for doing that.
Most likely. In any case, she says that this random tech blogger is someone who should not be listened to because, of course, these journo rats always do what they have to do to make sure that you can see them as the only legitimate voice in journalism, and that anybody else who doesn't have they don't have blue check marks anymore, but they, and they're still salty about that. But effectively, well, I work for a reputable company. Yeah, except that you're the ones who have destroyed that reputation. So she says that because she's affiliated with a website like IGN, that she should be taken more seriously than this tech blogger. Well, how about this then? This is the tech blogger who provided the accurate translation, and they have 388,000 followers. What does Rebecca Valentine have? Oh, 25,000.
Establishment protection. She's an agent of the establishment. And since the entertainment establishment, the mainstream media, mainstream video games, journalism is in a position of power, they think they are better than us when we are burying these people one video, one show, and one creator at a time. And we're seeing more and more defections to our side, whether they're progressive or libertarian or conservative or even nationalistic in nature. It just goes to show the tide is turning. This coward has protected its account. It's not even worthy of womanhood, and it's not even one of those creatures, despite having pronouns in its bio. This is a lying propagandist who has run away, is hunkering down, and is waiting for it all to blow over. But if it never blows over, she'll never come out of her shell, and we'll never hear from her again. So keep on going and keep on growing at this woman's expense.
Because this woman looks like a fucking toddler. She's got like that whole bib over.
So do you, Dobby. Please continue, Will.
No, it's cool, man. It's cool. I'm happy to listen to you guys tell me what you think, because I've been up and down and all around this stupid story. And now I'm just thinking, it's what is it going to take for us to finally rid ourselves of these fucking cockroaches?
Well, you've got to put the pieces together. And I think what Grums has done has been very instrumental in putting all those pieces together to explain how the racket takes place, how these people collude with one another. IGN, Sweet Baby Inc., Kotaku, even Bloomberg, how Valentine and Mercante and Schreier work with one another and collude in their efforts to undermine those who stand in the way of their agenda. And thankfully, Black Myth Wukong and the people behind it have just given them the easiest answer you can. No.
Yeah, I mean, that is effectively what it boils down to. We have to just ignore them, just refuse to participate in any of this. And wherever possible, if you're in the position to do so, i.e. you're a YouTuber or something along those lines, shout it out, make a big fuss, and reveal them to be what they are: hacks, multi-award winning senior hacks. What does it fucking matter if you've won awards?
It's the inner contradiction of content creation, because on one hand, you want to deny these folks the oxygen of publicity, but on the other hand, you need to understand that if you ignore these people, like a disease, if you ignore the disease, they spread. And it'll keep on spreading. So it's a shame. It's a shame that these people have to be highlighted, because it gives them the oxygen of publicity. but the alternative is that they continue without any kind of pressure, and they can basically hustle their way into getting millions from these video games companies and drive them into the ground while they get all the juicy profits for themselves, like a bunch of parasites.
Absolutely. So there you go. That's it. It's all still to be fought for, and we'll have to keep fighting. But until then, I guess Rebecca Valentine will maybe peek her head back out one day, but she's joined the ranks of the protected on X, just like Sweet Baby Inc., just like everybody else that gets caught with their pants down. Just hit protected, and it will all go away unless we decide that it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Anyway, that is about that. It's been 2 hours, and we need to wrap up. And I appreciate everybody checking out this episode of WTF Live, and we'll begin with our outros. Of course, as per tradition, here is some Sydney Sweeney. Rev, you want to give your outro, mate?
Sure. It's been an absolute pleasure being here. I'll be doing probably streams and videos coming up, especially covering how bad the ratings are on the Acolyte. I will be reviewing Doctor Who and The Boredom of Death when that airs, so that'll be interesting to see. It's been a pleasure. So yeah, definitely check out my channel, help support Will of the Fans as well, because it is his birthday.
It is my birthday. That's right. Thank you very much for mentioning it. Ryan, anything?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and none of the other degenerates, thank you all very much for watching this episode of Will of the Fans Live, the 25th episode, hopefully the first 25th of many. This lady would be so great as a prostitute. She decided, nah, I'm going to be an actress. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. If you're good at something, never do it for peanuts.
Exactly. As for me, I've already released a video going through the Black Myth Wukong situation. It's from a show which I was on, Words of Paradise's Countercast show. We had a fantastic talk over there. I'll also be releasing about 5 more videos for today, once every 90 minutes. So fingers crossed you'll all enjoy those videos. Watch out for them, though. You know what YouTube's like with their notifications, or lack thereof. And you can find me at Ryan Rogerathe. I am the host and founder of Reality Based. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Links are in the description down below. Now look at the Atrean Dream right here.
The Atrean Dream? I don't know many guys who would say no to Sydney Sweeney. I mean, you can see in the chat the amount of boobs in the chat right now.
Hey, Atreus doesn't take no for an answer. We talked about this.
My God, man. That's criminal. Anyway, while Sydney and her puppies keep you entertained, I'll just say thank you very much for watching this episode. I think it's 25.
Yes, it is.
Well, hey, we've completed our first quarter of the way to 100. Of WTF Live, where we dissect and discuss pop culture for you folks who want to communicate with us, as you will. I really appreciate the donations of memberships, and I think we have a couple more that I need to quickly shout out. Just regular stuff here, like Dempsey, actually, as your good friend, Ryan, I believe.
Yes, a regular of Reality Based.
Has been a member for 1 month on this channel. Thank you very, very much. Well appreciated. Yeah. Says, I'll cry her a river for her self-inflicted wounds. Of course, we're not talking about Sydney Sweeney for that one. That would be Alyssa McCunt. Hey. Anyway, so yeah, I of course appreciate everybody who has gone above and beyond with the donations and such, like Adam Juman, Dempsey, James Opp, T-Jep Steve, Eris Rhoda. Thank you very, very much. And some of them are mods as well. Mods, you've all done a great job as always. You guys in the chat, you keep me laughing quietly and having to mute my microphone so that I don't snort while the others are talking. Thank you very, very much. It is my birthday, or it's the extended version of my birthday, should I say. So I appreciate all the well-wishing there, and we will be back tomorrow night for another episode of this show, because we missed yesterday and there are supposed to be 2. So assuming you guys can make it, we'll be back at the same time tomorrow for a continuation of a lot of this stuff, but we also need to get into things like the Acolyte and everything else that's going on with Disney. And we'll be covering some of that then as well. So check that out. As for now, just continue to check out all of our channels. Subscribe to everybody. Subscribe to me if you haven't already. And we'll try not to let you down. But until next time, there's nothing left to do but wave at the camera, smile like idiots, and say, see you next time.
Bye.
Wakanda forever.
Bye, bye, bye.